Welcome to Season 2 of the LG Doghouse. I am your host, Sir Mike Knight. With me, as always, by mercy and grace and audacity. All right.
I have to ask.
I don't know what...
I never asked this all last season, but what is up with the this thing that you do, Audacity? It's like...
It's the Ricky Bobby. I don't know what to do. It's either that or I'm giving him the Spider-Man.
All right, I just had to throw that out there because it happens every time. And then you got made fun of it on the LG show.
Oh, did that?
Yeah, you didn't catch that? The very first
No.
episode he did, he had you, when you did that, you brought out two guns. It was like, bang, bang. That's what I always thought it was.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, I did the Cactus Jack, or I'll do the Ricky Bobby.
All right, continuing on.
Oh, man. So, wait. So, since we brought up the LG show, does that mean we get the money from J Money?
Yes, it's a plug of a plug of a plug.
If we're gonna plug him, he has to give us
At least
Right.
a portion of that money.
You know what? I gotta make a jar. I'm gonna stick it in the back.
I can't.
And I will charge interest as well. I'm not Jewish, but I will do it. I don't care.
All this talk about plugs, I think I'm on the wrong website.
Yeah, right.
Oh gosh.
Hey, J Money, there's another plug. I'm just saying. So not only do we get the money from J Money because we mentioned J Money, but we also get money from what's his name now?
Jay's Ways.
Jay's Ways.
Original name.
An original name, Jay's Ways. So okay, all right. So this is the first episode of the second season. Bidding's not over yet, but we do have a few things to discuss. The first being we're gonna do some management predictions. This is obviously not full predictions because we don't have full teams yet. But based on what is happening so far, Mercy, what's going on in the O?
All right. So in the OHL, we had some guys returning that I thought were pretty good. Obviously, we already have the OHL champions returning. I'm going to mention them last. I only did like the top 3 because I didn't want to go through 16 teams, and I just didn't want to, and you can't make me. So number 3 returning, I actually put Windsor at number 3, with Pastor Gaines coming back. The second half of the season for Windsor, they were one of the better teams in the league. They went from last to 7th in that time for the playoff run. So I think given a full season and time to actually build a team, I think Pastor Gaines will put a pretty competitive team out there.
GM of the year, Pastor Gaines.
And then at number 2, I put in London Knights. Nutty Grandpa coming down from the AHL after a not too terribly successful season with the Toronto Marlies. Apparently there's some reasons for that. I am unaware of them. But they didn't have the best season.
He didn't manage the entire season, though, did he? Didn't he take over that team?
No, he's beginning to end. Coming down to the AHL, that experience is going to help you. It's a different game up there. It's definitely a bit slower of a game, less on the rush. You learn very quickly how to shut down the rush in the AHL because it just doesn't work. So he's going to take that experience of how to run a higher tier team down here in the CHL, and hopefully that pays off for him. But number 1, I don't think there's any real question about this. Who's going to come out OHL champion?
North Bay Battalion.
North Bay Battalion, because they're always good. No, it's at Kingston.
I would have just picked North Bay because no matter who the hell they have running North Bay, they're always good.
It does always seem like that North Bay's always good, but I don't know. Kingston's coming back, got 2 re-signs, got Immortal BMW for 1.5 goddamn million. Somehow.
And Scumbag Jared.
Thanks CHL GMs for letting him take his number 1 tendy for 1.5 million.
He's not a tendy, he's a right wing.
He's a tendy, and you know it.
Ed Hardy might be.
He's going to... If he doesn't play tendy for you come the playoffs, I don't know. I'll do something stupid. Like, remove my lower vertebrae and eat out my own ass. I don't know.
You show your tramp stamp on this show.
I don't have a tramp
I
stamp.
know you have a tramp
I mean,
stamp.
we'll
You
just
are
settle.
so
We'll just
not.
settle for you taking your shirt off.
Okay.
Truffle
Do that.
shuffle.
I
Do the
s-
truffle
We want
shuffle.
the
You
truffle
know-
Do the
shuffle.
truffle shuffle.
You know just as well as I do that Immortal BMW will be in net
Truffle shuffle.
when it matters for you.
Truffle shuffle.
Yeah. Anyway, good job CHL GMs letting us get his number one tending, probably the best one in the CHL, 1.5 million. But a little bit of twist to this because this is the Doghouse. I did top 3 and who I think will be the worst team. Okay, the worst team to me right now, and maybe they change, maybe they have something that I don't know. Lake Erie Otters, because it is currently Sunday at roughly 2 p.m. Eastern Time, and they have all of 2 players on their roster.
I did notice that. I was looking through yesterday. I was like, what? What? Really?
And staff has reached out to them to make sure they know what's going on, that they are aware that they are bidding, and they are aware. They say they have a plan. I hope that works out for you guys. I really do. But I don't know.
Definitely interesting. All right, Audacity. Moving on to the queue.
Q's got a few new GMs mixed in with some seasons GMs. I mean, but like sticking with the same format, I'm gonna stick with the top 3 and the bottom 1. Number 1 that I think is gonna win over there is, and the who scares me again for the Q upsetting me once again another season in a row, would be Wonger's team. He comes over with NHL Cup experience, AHL Cup experience, and a lot of guys that he's bid on that are solid. I think he might catch a bit of the call-up bug halfway through the season, and he's going to have to learn how to work on his feet, where you don't have to worry about that so much in the AHL or NHL. But I do think that that's going to be the team to contend with. The number 2 team that I think that might also be there is shit.
That's
There's
good.
actually no.
That is a
Good
pretty
team.
good team.
Great team.
Shit.
Great.
I'm like it's a tough race for number 2. I mean, I would probably say Charlton Islanders. J Blob has got a lot of good players there. I know Anth is the actual new GM, but J Blob has been seasoned. He knows a lot of players throughout the AHL and CHL. He's come all the way from LG or VHL when the transfer came. So that could possibly work in their favor, having that guy. And then I really couldn't tell you who the third team would be. I'll just go with 2, and then the last one would be, who's going to come in dead last would be it's Zach. I like the little guy. I feel bad for him. He brings a lot of attention to himself when he really doesn't have to. But at the same time, I mean, it's so hard to respect a GM that is just so young. You're playing with older guys, and somebody that doesn't have thumbs telling you how to play is bad. So.
Did he ever get a GM?
Yes. Actually, he does have a GM, Drink Beers, who seems like a nice guy in the chat box.
All right, well, good for him then, because for a while, I know at least right before bidding, there was no GM on that roster. So
Yeah, it was a bit sad. I was like, well, is nobody going to GM with him?
And new to the CHL is the WHL. Mercy, what you got?
all right. So it's not the first season for the WHL, but it's the first season that we've ever had WQO, I believe, unless there's something happening like one of the early seasons. But there were some returning GMs and some new GMs. This one was a little bit strange for me because I didn't really see any team that popped out like this is the team to beat in the O. I think there are teams that are better than others. But my number 3, I'm not gonna lie, I picked this at random, is Regina Pats. So there you go, number 3, team to beat. Good job. But number 2 and 1 were definitely things that I pointed out. Number 2, the Vancouver. I don't even know the team name. Vancouver somethings. Vancouver Giants. Darth and Checkett are returning from the Peterborough Petes last season, I believe. Is that correct? They were a good team. They seem to have a really bad slide at the end of the season. I don't know what happened there, but for a significant part of the season, they were a solid team. So I think they can definitely do that again, especially in what seems to be the weaker conference out of the three. I mean, it seems like the OHL and QMJ have some real standout teams, and that's not really there in the W. But number one,
and that's what we said about the Q.
This is true. We said this all last season about the Q, and they ended up winning the cup. So
Armada won 19, 18 in a row. In the first
what we said about the Q. Look, if you look at the total point standings, the Armada didn't even hit 100 points.
They didn't play enough games.
Whereas just about every team that. What do you mean they didn't play enough games? They had one. They played during our week off before playoffs to match how many games we played.
No, they didn't.
No, they were 3 weeks behind.
Yeah,
us.
they missed about 3 weeks.
So they ended up only behind 2. Right?
No, they didn't play that week off.
Yeah, there was a confusion during the holiday break that the Q was going to play.
There was all kinds of fucking confusion.
And then during Christmas. And then they actually were like, no, nobody's playing during Christmas break.
Yeah. That was a mistake on Trish's part.
Dude.
So, no, they did not play an extra week to try to catch up. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you can say whatever, the Armada are the only team that could have won it, and they did. But at the end of the day, a team out of the Q won it. So
I still don't believe that the Armada could have been the only team. I really don't. I mean, look at what Cape Breton was able to do to our Armada. Bring them to 7 games. What if Cape Breton made it?
They would have lost.
I don't see about Armada before they hit you your ass.
Okay, listen.
So I really don't think, we cannot take the WHL lightly. That's all I'm trying to get at. Do not take the WHL lightly. Because especially with the prospects coming in, you never know what's going to happen in random assignments. You never know how the team's going to look halfway through. You know what I'm saying? You just don't know. So all I'm saying is we cannot take the WHL lightly. Just because right now they look like the weaker conference doesn't mean they are.
Yeah. And again, this is not even partial rosters. This is like quarter rosters. Like, we don't even know what a lot of these teams are going to look like.
It could have been the TC lottery for all we know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. No, I'm not saying they're a weaker conference in the WHL by no means. Just right now, if you look at them, it's like a flat line. There's no spike that you say this team's way better up here than the next. It's just a flat line. Until the season progresses, we won't find out who is going to be the one standing out.
Yeah. But not my number one for the WHL is definitely the Lethbridge Hurricanes. Bossy coming over from the Victoriaville Tigres, which we learned how to pronounce from our French man, Greasy Bro. Which, by the way, he's still a member of the Doghouse. Just, dealing.
He wanted to come on today. He's just too tired, man. It's taking a lot out of him.
So, yeah, keep him in your prayers, guys. I know we are. Moving on, though, to who I feel will be the worst team in the WHL. And this is no question in my eyes who's going to be the worst. Returning as GM and also recipient of the My Thumbs Done Broke Award, the Moose Jaw Warriors. Guys, your GM was literally the worst player in the league last season.
And talked the most shit. Well, maybe not the most, because I think Audacity did, but he talked a lot of shit for somebody who was so terrible.
So have fun with that. I mean, maybe he'll get better. Maybe it was a supporting cast. Who knows? But right now, it's not looking good for the Warriors.
All right. Well, moving on to a favorite segment, the Doghouse. Mercy, who's in the Doghouse?
I had this planned out before the thing started, didn't I? I don't remember.
Yes. Chatbox.
Chatbox. Yeah, duh. Thank you. Okay, a little bit of preface this, okay? So, since I've taken staff, I've had to, I said this on the show last season, that I was going to hold back a little bit, just because I'm staff. My goal for this season of the Doghouse is to, at some point, make Zeno come talk to me in a private message or on an Xbox party or whatever, make him have to address that I cannot continue to speak this way as a member of staff. So,
We're all getting banned.
yeah. I've already been told it's a 2-season ban if I get removed from staff, so, yeah, 2-season ban possibly incoming. But my Doghouse, absolutely, beyond a shadow of a doubt, Wolves plays. Okay, he is...
Tell us why.
Because he's a troll. I don't know who he is. He's probably like 40-something and like really just... I don't know what's wrong with him.
No, it's been debunked. He's 18. He says he's 19. I don't know why he wants to make himself a year older. Like 19 is different from 18 somehow, like at all.
But since I was 19 to 18.
But I mean, everybody was saying he was 12, and then who was it? Somebody came in, because if anybody watched Jay's Way show, they would know this. But somebody came in and said, "Well, you signed up on this season at 16. Triss, please confirm." And then Triss actually confirmed in a comment to that video that he is 18. Don't know why he's saying he's 19.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I don't. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, why say you're 19 when you're 18? What do you think? People are going to take you more seriously because you're 19?
Yeah. Not only is Wolves Plays not a very good player, but him screaming in the chat box about not getting a bid in the CHL when you've spent basically the entire offseason in between like 20 different chat box timeouts, including a weak one for quote-unquote spelling, which is probably my favorite ban I've ever seen someone get. But that wasn't the only reason. There was a whole list of things he got banned for, but spelling was one of them, and I felt that amazing that a member of staff on the site felt that his atrocious spelling was bannable offense.
Audacity, do you find it hilarious that Mercy would bring up somebody asking for bids in the chat box right after he asked for somebody to bid on me?
That's different. There is a difference between asking for yourself to get a bid and plugging someone to get a bid.
They're both dumb.
No.
Yeah, they are. They're both dumb.
What?
Look,
what does this even mean? Audacity.
I end up
plugging someone to get a bid, huh?
Yeah, plugging me.
Oh gosh.
Audacity. Who's your doghouse?
My doghouse actually goes out to all the players begging in the chat box to get a bid. Really, you shouldn't have to beg. You should have scouted. If you can't scout, ask people to play. Don't sit there and beg for a bid. And then I don't need to hear that you were an NHL player 20 years ago. The game is different. It's changed. It plays completely different than it did 6 years ago. It's skating completely different. Shooting's completely different.
Even from a year ago, it's a totally different game.
Exactly, but they're like, oh, I had 60 points, and then they come with no proof. Everybody always says 300 points and is a great player back in the day.
I average 7.2 points per game. Number one leaderboard.
Yeah, dude, I love when people come in and say, "Oh, I'm number one on the freaking EASHL leaderboards." Yeah, it's great that you're great at twos, beating off the fucking computer snipe shot. But 6v6 is a completely different fucking beast. It really is. Working with a team is completely different than you being the only skater with a fucking buddy in goal.
Moving out.
Yeah, it's freaking stupid. Stupid.
Yeah, I just don't think anybody should have to beg for a bid. Everybody will message me and say, hey, can you bid on me? Can you do this? Can you do that? I always tell them the same thing. I'll look into it. I'll see what I can do. And then it's all up to the board. I let the board read the future. So, if you're a low priority person, you have to wait till I get to that level on my board. But don't beg. It's just not right. It makes you look bad. And then when you get on TC, you're going to be the same person that messages the GM 15 times going, hey, I'm an NHL player on your TC. Call me up. Screw you.
Or the guy who fucking posts in the forum saying, hey, my GM won't play me.
Yes.
Yes.
And the whole thing is to scout. And most of these guys that are going for $6 million that may not have any thumbs, scouted. And they scouted well, and they scouted a lot. So it was your own doing to think that people were going to read up on your history that happened 16 years ago in another league that we should know you're good.
Right. If you want to actually play, do what I did. Become an AGM.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, man, when I decided that I wasn't going to do management this season, I didn't think I was going to end up on an actual team. Not off the wing.
Who did end up picking you up?
Kate Brennan.
Kate Breton. Okay.
Yeah, for freaking $500,000, it ties my highest ever salary.
I actually went for the highest salary I've ever had this season. It was nice. Woo.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Look at that. At $500,000. Anyway, all right. So my doghouse goes to Wales fan. The man, Wales fan,
Why?
because he says I'm going to do a shorter show. Right? I'm going to do a shorter show than everyone else, right? I'm thinking, okay, so he's going to do like a 15-minute show, 20-minute show. It's a half-hour show about nothing. Like literally, I couldn't get through the first 8 minutes.
I just love
Which is actually, the 8 minutes is not as long as Jay's Way shows. That's a short show.
That's a short show.
Okay.
That is filling a niche
short show.
LG desperately
When
needs.
you're talking, I mean, I guess it, considering he used to do like 3 5-hour shows, I guess it is kind of a short show for him. Maybe. I don't know. But half hour to me is not a short show. You know, I'm not going to sit here and claim that we do a short show.
I think
You know what I'm saying?
I think we have a shorter show than most, but no, we are not a short show. We are.
Well, that's because
We're more like we're more of a podcast,
before
honestly.
Before now, most shows weren't edited.
Yeah.
It was mostly just get on Google Plus and just bullshit and hope that people watch. You know, I mean, we kind of, I'm not saying that we were the first edited show, but we were the only edited show last season. You know? Anyway.
It
so
seems like there's going to be a lot more of that this season, though.
This can be, it, you know, I love Jay's Way's, you know, everyday freaking thing. You know, it's kind of funny, it's funky, and it literally, dude, you can watch it while sitting on the john. I mean, I could just take a shit and watch it real quick, you know, you know, or time myself brushing my teeth while watching a show. I mean, it's kind of cool. But as far as the fourth line that B Mage's new show, that's still gonna be like 4 hours. I don't give a fuck who he has editing it. You know, I feel bad for Krispy Kreme because he's got to edit through 6 hours worth of footage in order to cut it down to, who knows, 3 hours. I feel bad. And then you got the AHL. The AHL is actually doing some media this season. It looks like there's about 2 shows going out in the AHL when there were no shows last season.
And actually, I really enjoyed the first episode of Bogey's show, and I'm gonna.
I wanted to.
You didn't even try.
I did, dude. I watched the first 10 minutes, and all it is about the fucking update to the game. I don't give a fuck, dude. If I want to know what the update to the game is, I'll read it. I don't
mind the update to the game, but they do need to cover more than just their teams. That was the whole thing. It was talk about ourselves, talk about the update, and that was it.
That's the problem. That's what I try here to get away from. That's why, like, when Audacity starts talking about his team, I try to fucking no, shut up, shut the fuck up. Let's move on. You know, and try to do that. I don't like talking about my own team. I'm not going to sit here and talk about Kate Brenton all day. You know, I didn't talk about Mississauga like at all last season.
Mostly because there was nothing to talk about.
No, of course we sucked. I mean,
who are you going to lose to this week?
The only time,
not everybody.
The only time Mercy talked about fucking Owen Sound was when he predicted them to fucking sweep everybody in the goddamn playoffs.
Totally nailed it.
That worked out.
Nailed it. Best prediction ever.
Right? I think the only person that really got away with it was fucking Greasy Bro.
Yeah.
When he started talking about the fucking Huskies. And that's just because none of us had anything else to say about the Q. We had no idea what the fuck.
Yeah, what are we going to do?
Because he was entertaining and he talked about the Q. You know, we needed somebody in the queue that knew what the fuck they were talking about. Plus we needed somebody to translate the fucking French names for us. We had no idea what the fuck. Anyway, all right. So last segment, I really looking forward to the preseason. It's not really a preseason. I mean, really, but I want to know predictions for the preseason cup. By mercy and grace, who's going to be the preseason cup winner this season?
Keeping with the tradition of the preseason cup winners doing really well in the preseason, but absolutely being terrible in the regular season, I don't think there's any question of who's going to win the preseason cup this season. The Quebec Ramparts are going to win the preseason cup. It's Zach
Really?
here is going to win the preseason cup.
Ooh. Bold prediction. Bold prediction.
What is that? I don't know what he's getting ready over there. It's probably some type of phallic symbol.
Oh, yeah, it's a giant penis. I'll show it to you in a minute. Why don't you come back and look at your webcam?
I don't want to. For those of you guys watching, I had to take care of some business right before we were going to record, so I left Audacity alone with my Skype recording for a solid 5-10 minutes. So I have no idea what's waiting for me when I go back to edit the show.
I'm gonna go with Kamaloop. The Kamaloop Blazers and Tarasenko.
Oh!
He takes pride in the preseason like no other. So I'm gonna go with him.
Oh, son of a bitch! That was gonna be my prediction. And you kind of say it's the defending cup champion there. He did run Sarnia Sting last season, so I was gonna go with a dual winner on two different teams. You know, I was gonna, you know what, and I'm not gonna change it either. That's my prediction. It's the same thing.
Preseason cup.
Preseason cup, because we know how much Tarasenko loves the preseason. So anyway, that's all we got time for, right?
That's
we got
it.
Anything else? All right.
Trying to think. Is there anything we missed? Anything crazy? Oh, do we want to just open the door? We talked about this a little bit before the show. If we don't want to talk about it, I'll just edit it out. Do we want to put out there that we're looking for a fourth member?
All right, guys, we're going to offer a position to anybody out there as a member of this this crew, this panel. We need somebody that is willing to do the research. We need somebody who's entertaining. We need somebody who, it doesn't matter if you're in the O, the Q, the W, you will be covering a different league. So if you're from the W, you'll be covering the O. If you're from the Q, you'll probably be covering the W. If you're from the fucking O, you'll probably be covering the W as well. We need somebody.
We need someone to cover the W, is what he's saying.
Well, either we need somebody to cover the W or we need somebody to cover the O. I mean, that's the bottom line. We need somebody who's going to be willing to fill in when fucking douchebag Quinn is absolutely drunk and can't be bothered to fucking get.
And it's not a knock against Quinn. We absolutely would like to have him on the show, but his schedule's heating up. He's doing a lot of stuff, like career and real life oriented. He apparently didn't get the memo that it's preseason, LG, real life. All that jazz.
Right? I mean, preseason, season, real life, right?
Right.
Then playoffs somewhere over there.
He's doing it backwards. It's total bullshit.
Yeah, right?
But, he's busy. He can't always be on the show. And I have found at least that 4 seems to be our magic number as far as when we get the best content. So we want someone else who's willing to step in when he can't. And he usually knows pretty early when he can't, unless today when it's, hey, please record Sunday. All right, we'll record Sunday. And then he no-shows. So, No
call, no show. I mean, that's an automatic fire, but we're going to be nice.
So, do we require this fourth host to speak English?
No.
That's going to be really interesting if they can't speak English. We're just be like...
They either have to be able to speak English, or they have to be willing to buy one of those little translator things that sits at the bottom of the screen and speaks English for them.
So what, they could sound like my aunt? Hello, Michael.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I think that would be entertaining.
I would love to get...
just see his lips moving and just English coming out of this little thing. Right? I mean...
QC...
And a bonus if they can sign, too, while doing it.
So, yeah. I mean, one of the most beloved members of the Doghouse is very QC, so... I think he had the gigantic Canadians flag flying in the background.
Ugh, I hate it.
I saw him. I did not think he was QC.
Yeah.
I was like, Spanish people are into hockey. I was so surprised when I saw that. I was like, whoa. Okay.
I love what he says. You're setting brown people back.
All right, well, that's all the time we have here at the LG Doghouse. from myself by mercy, grace, and audacity.
Yeah, you just copied mine. No, you have to do your own thing. Oh gosh, no! I should have seen that coming. No, no, no.
There's a place in France where the naked people
You're
dance.
no, no, nope. Let's not ever go there.
I can't tell if the screen's frozen.
Yeah, I can't. No, he's just staying there. Friends don't let friends drink Starbucks. I love Starbucks.
Fuck Starbucks.
You ever had a caramel apple spice? It's delicious.
No, because I'm not gay.
That's beg to differ. I've seen your Twitch. Bags of milk. Bags of milk.
Okay. I have to ask this. All you Canadian people, Quinn is arguing vehemently with us that there's no such thing as bagged milk in Canada.
Yes, there is.
There is bagged milk in Canada. We know we're Americans. Okay?
Yeah. After fucking noon. You know, you be prepared to say, hey, we're going to record at noon, and then by mercy and grace doesn't get on until 2.
That's just gonna happen. This is just gonna happen. Sorry.
We missed the.
That's what happens when LG starts. Yeah, I just interrupted you.
Yeah. Is he gonna do it? Is he doing it?
Off to a great start.